A video of Daishinfinity. In this video we're going to talk about the imaginary version of the cosine of x function, which states that cosine of x is equal to e to the ix plus e to the negative ix over 2. So in this video we're going to use the Euler's formula e to the ix is equal to cosine of x plus I sine of x to prove this formula. Now first of all, e to the ix can be written as a sum of two trigonometric functions. Euler proved that e to the ix is equal to cosine of x plus I sine of x, where cosine of x is the real part of e to the ix, and I sine of x is equal to the imaginary part of e to the ix. Now, I would like to use a very useful mathematic rule or formula, which states that if we have a function f of x, we can always describe a function f of x as a sum of two even and odd functions. Now let's talk about this formula for a second. I have written down two different functions over here. We have the even function and an odd function. For the even function, let's take a parabola, for example 2x x squared plus 1, or x squared, or x to the fourth, I don't really care. Now, if we look at the positive branch of the function and the negative branch of the function, we would see that the function values of the negative and the positive are always equal. So we can write that f of x is f of minus x. Now, on the right-hand side, we can see an odd function like x cubed, or x to the fifth, or x to the seventh power. Now, if we would plug in a positive number, which would be positive, you know, like if the limit as x approaches infinity of x cubed is obviously infinity. But on the other side, where x approaches negative infinity, it will approach negative infinity. So we see odd functions have a property that if you go on the negative side, it will flip the whole thing. It will flip the whole function upside down 180 degrees, which technically means that we would multiply the function's value by -1. So we can state that for even functions, f of x is f of minus x, and for odd functions, f of x is equal to negative f of negative x. Now, for the even and odd functions, this is going to be the formula for f of x. So f of x is f of x plus f of minus x over 2 plus f of x plus minus f of negative x over 2. The reason why I divide by 2 is if I add a whole even function, that's one whole function. And if I add another whole odd function, we have another whole function. So we would have two whole functions, but we only need one function. So we divide the whole thing by 2 to get 0.5 plus 0.5 of the function, which would be one whole function. Now, e to the ix is going to be a function. So let's let e to the ix be the function, which would mean that e to the ix is equal to e to the ix plus e to the negative ix over 2 plus e to the ix minus e to the negative ix over 2. Now you see, you can try and work it out and you'll get e to the ix by itself. It's just a little manipulation going on here, algebraic manipulation. Now e to the ix can also be written as the Euler's formula, which is going to be cosine of x plus I sine of x. Now, I want to see which part of this cosine of x or I sine of x is even or odd. So let's look at the function cosine of x and I sine of x. Now, cosine of x, the cosine of x function. If you look at the right side, the positive branch of the x-axis, we see that it always looks similar and identical to the left side of the function, so negative x. So we can say that cosine of x is equal to cosine of negative x, because cosine is an even function. Now if we look at the sine of x, the sine of x on the positive branch is starting at 0 and going up. Now on the negative branch, we see it starts at 0 and then it goes down. So we see all the function values were multiplied by -1, or in either case, if you like arts or any kind of other subject, the function flipped upside down. This is how you can understand the odd function. So we can say that sine of x is negative sine of negative x, or if you multiply both sides by 2 of this equation, we get negative sine of x is sine of negative x. This is what you often see in a formula book. So we can see that sine of x is an odd function, which means that the cosine of x would be this part, because this part is the even part of the function. And if we would take another color, the sine of x, which is the odd part, which would be the second part of this equation. So I times sine of x is going to be e to the ix negative e to the negative ix over 2, and cosine of x is going to be that formula. So if we would sum up together, we would see that cosine of x is equal to e to the ix plus e to the negative ix over 2. So now we have proven the formula. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Also comment on the video if you have any add-ons or any questions. Now, I will make a video about the I sine of x and why the sine of x has a different type of way of writing it. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see us in the next Daishinfinity video. See ya.